Good morning, students. How are you all? Today we are going to start a chapter from your Civics book, that is, What is Democracy? Why Democracy? In this chapter, we learn about democracy and features of democracy. What is democracy? Democracy comes from a Greek word, demokratia. In Greek, demo means people and kratia means rule. Democracy is a form of government in which the rulers are elected by the people. This simple definition is not adequate. It reminds us that democracy is people's rule. But if we use this definition in an unthinking manner, we would end up calling almost every government that holds an election a democracy. That would be very misleading, as we shall find out that there are two types of democracy, so called democracy and real democracy. In this chapter, we'll learn about the differences between a government that is a democracy and one that pretends to be one. The difference between democratic and non-democratic government are as follows. Democratic government formed by representatives. At the same time, non-democratic government ruled by force, by a person or a group. Democratic government has representatives which are elected in a free and fair election. But at the same time, in non democratic government, representatives are not elected by the people. In democratic government, major decisions are taken by elected leaders. But in non democratic government, major decisions are taken by non elected leaders. In democratic government, citizens have the rights to oppose policy and action made by the government. But at the same time, non-democratic government do not tolerate criticism from public in general. It means no criticism of government or ruler tolerated. In democratic government, citizens have voting rights, one person, one vote, one value. But in non democratic government, citizens do not have voting rights. Next, 1.2, that is features of democracy. There are major 6 features of democracy. First, rulers elected by the people. Second, major decisions taken by elected leaders. Free and fair elections. Election in regular intervals. One person, one vote, one value. Rule of law and respect of rights. So, in the next slide, you will come to know about all these features with examples. Point number 1. Democracy is a form of government in which the rulers are elected by the people. Here we have some examples of some countries where the rulers are not elected by public in general. Either they are called army rulers, dictators, which are not from democratic form of government. Second point, in a democracy, final decision making power must rest with those elected by the people. A democracy must be based on a free and fair election where those currently in power have a fair chance of losing. So, in a democracy, there are two parties, one ruling and another opposition party, and both party must have free and fair elections through which they come into the power. As we have some examples of China, Mexico, where the rulers come from a particular party. Like in China, there is a Communist Party, and all the candidates are either members of Chinese Communist Party or eight smaller allies of the party. In democracy, people's will is important by each adult citizen having one vote, and each vote has one value. Democracy is based on the fundamental principle of political equality. But we are having some examples. Countries like Saudi Arabia, Estonia, and Fiji, or in some or other way, deny the voting rights to certain section of its population. So it means people do not have equal political rights. Thank you.